Hi, welcome to the Wisdom of Your Soul. I'm Janice Fuchs. I am a psychotherapist and I have been practicing for over 20 years now. And I had this amazing experience connecting to that soul energy within. And since then, I just really like to share the insights that I receive and how it's helped my life, changed my life, and how I'm helping other people in my practice to do the same. So I hope you stick around to listen, and I hope you try to connect to your soul energy because it's really worth your time and energy. So I also wanted to let you know that I'm doing a live radio show on psychictalk.net. The first Monday of every month is a live show. So I hope you join us and you call in and ask questions. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to hear how you're doing, connecting to your soul energy, and how I could help you. So I hope you join me. And there's also many other amazing shows on that radio station. There's mediums, and there's tarot card readers and numerology. So I will post a link in this video so that you can check everything that has to offer. So I hope you join us. That would be great. So today I thought maybe I would read one of my posts that I did today so that we can kind of talk about it. So now in the morning, what I do every morning, I wake up and I, before I get busy with my day and before the ego, starts to grab a hold of me with its list of things for me to do, as I sit and I kind of do a short meditation, I just kind of relax and quiet down that ego voice, because first thing in the morning, that ego voice could be going. And, it's generally really quiet in my house. And it's just a nice time to sit and reflect. And I just ask for some information that might be helpful to share. And I think a lot of times I get information from the soul energy that is meant to help me personally. But I think anything that helps me can help you. And so I think, we're one and the same. So that's why I decided to share all the wisdom and the ideas that I get, even though they might be, for me, I feel like we're all connected. So I know that when I talk to other people about the information I get, it seems to help them too. So I hope it helps you. So this one post that I did was called The Map to Our Being. And so this is what I wrote. I'll read it and then we can talk about it, okay? When our self-exploration ends with the analyzing of the ego, we miss exploring the map to our buried treasure. The ego, the part of us that is grounded and identifies with this world, mostly ingesting the negative aspects, savoring each mistake, tries to motivate by fear and lack. So basically what this is saying is that if we just continue to analyze our ego, and I know all about that because being a therapist, that's really the bulk of my career was analyzing people's ego. And I didn't really realize that that's what I was doing, that I was just analyzing people's ego, and we were trying to navigate through the waters of like the treacherous ego, which is helpful to some degree, but we have to go a little bit further. So that's what this post is about, is that we need to go a little bit further. So it continues on saying, this dictator can keep us busy in accomplishing for many years. And then there comes a point when there are things of the world that feel empty, and each success brings less and less satisfaction. So, when we accomplish things in our lives, we can feel really happy and proud of ourselves. But honestly, from my own experience and from watching my clients, the satisfaction lasts all of 5 minutes, and then we're off onto the next thing. And that's not bad. It's just, it doesn't provide us that stability of happiness and peace of mind. It's always kind of making us feel like, once we hit one accomplishment, we have to go to the next. And that's not like the most stable feeling inside of us. So it continues. This disillusionment can be a time we turn to explore more in depth, and that's the soul, the conscious soul energy. When a faint memory of your soul being comes for you to experience, a knowing of your authentic self filled with love, wisdom, and enlightenment. In this memory, suffering from the ego comes to an end, and the purpose of this world is outstretched before you. Nothing is what it seems, and a deep sense of relief is felt. I am so much more than this body, these thoughts, and this life. So when we feel disillusioned in our lives, and that's what happened to me, when I started to feel like I was no longer helping my clients, and when I felt like the things that I was accomplishing wasn't giving me that peace of mind or satisfaction, that I started to turn within. That's when I started, meditating and reading and looking for other answers other than traditional psychotherapy. So it continues on. The vastness of the self and connection ushers any feeling of unworthiness or loneliness out the door. Your being is no longer motivated by feelings of unworthiness, but by the wealth of your true self. So when we're connected to this soul, you really feel this vastness and this connection. And, there's no more feeling of unworthiness. So there's no more trying to convince the ego of your worthiness by accomplishments. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't feel motivated you're no longer motivated by feelings of unworthiness. And you do feel this wealth of yourself. You feel like you have so much. It's almost like when we connect inside, we realize how much we have. And the ego has kept us so busy saying it's not enough, that we don't even sit in all of the abundance that we have. So when we connect to the soul energy, that's one of the things that makes you feel. It makes you feel very grateful for all the things that you have. That you have enough money, you have enough food, that you have enough of everything. And that what the ego keeps telling us that we need more and more and more isn't true. And to hear it and to experience it, I think, are two different things. And that's why your connection, is really important, because, you listening to me at some point isn't going to be enough. You have to experience these truths for yourself. And I know I had to too. I was listening to a lot of spiritual mentors and learning a lot of things, and none of it really took for long, maybe for a little while, but it wasn't until I really connected within myself that it really, really, all this stuff resonated with me, and it felt true, and it really felt true. So then I continue on. The treasure within is found and can be explored for all of eternity. So that's the other really nice knowing you get when you connect within, is that you're here for eternity. You're not here just for this lifetime, that you've had many lifetimes in the past, which is kind of a concept that's, kind of crazy to think about. And you'll have many lifetimes in the future. So in some way, for me anyway, it takes the pressure off of this life. I don't feel like I have to get everything done in this life. And if there are things I didn't get a chance to do, I know I probably will choose to come back around again. So it definitely does take that pressure off. And also it's very soothing to know that we're eternal. That the essence that lives, that is really truly who we are, goes on. That this body might die, but that I don't die, and neither do you. So that is so, so comforting, especially for people that have lost people in their lives, which can be extremely painful. So then I continue on. Through the love of your being, you are fulfilled and able to enjoy each moment. I found when I was doing a lot of the spiritual practices that I couldn't get my ego calm enough to really connect to my soul. So it wasn't until I had that real awakening that my ego calmed down, because I was so, I was kind of thrown into my soul energy, that it really helped me to be able to do that. Knowing what the ego is for and how it came into being, all the pieces of the puzzle make sense in your being. There is no more guilt for being human, just for an allowing for the authentic self to merge into a once troubled and frightened mind. Take your map in hand and begin your exploration of being. Don't stop at the ego. Ask your soul for the way within and feel the beauty and the love of you. So if we think about this, if we have a map, if we all have a map, and our soul can help guide us inward to its energy, that is really a beautiful way to think of, the soul and how to get to the soul. The soul is located really in our bodies, but so is the ego. And right now, for many of us, the ego has our attention and, really dictates. The ego is really in charge right now for many of us. And I think you really have to work a little bit at this to reverse that. Once you reverse it, then you start to see the benefit of living more in the soul energy as opposed to the ego energy. So I think it's really worth doing that. And, it's really, really helpful. So, when I write these posts, I'm fully immersed in my soul energy. And I take that feeling with me throughout the day. As my day goes on, my ego may start to get a little bit louder. And I remind myself to go back into that soul energy so that the ego calms down again. So you're going to have to do that for a while, and don't take it as a bad sign that you bounce back and forth from your ego to your soul, or your ego to your spirit, whatever it is that you want to label it. Some people call it the consciousness. Don't get attached to the labels. If you don't resonate with soul, call it the angel within, the God within, anything that you want. The last thing that I want you to do is to not resonate with a label and then throw away the whole message. It's really, really important for us to, really evolve from the trappings of the ego mind and how brutal living only in the mind is. It's more like we're thinking through our lives instead of living through our lives. And as a therapist, I certainly was thinking through most of my life and not really living. So I think that's why I had my experience to really show me that there is a completely other way to be. Being in the ego wasn't a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. We don't want to throw the ego out, but it certainly dilutes our experiences. So if you're on the beach and you're sitting on the beach and there's a beautiful sunset out and you're enjoying, being at the beach and the water, and then all of a sudden a thought comes into your mind of work the next day, and you start getting anxious about work, you're no longer at the beach. The beach is gone, and it's that simple. So we could all be taking vacations and we could be traveling and doing all these beautiful things. But if the ego is too active, it really takes our life away, So it's a really, really important thing to be very mindful of, to move out of thinking and back into experiencing. And I know firsthand that I was thinking more than I was experiencing. And coming back into experience, especially in the soul energy, has been an amazing gift. It's almost like being reborn. You feel like how you used to feel when you were a child. And you just don't have any worries anymore, because everything is fine. That you're taken care of, that you're loved, that you're abundant. So there's not a lot that you have to think about or that you have to do. And that doesn't mean that you don't do anything. I'm just as busy as I was before I connected to my soul energy. Maybe I'm even busier because I'm filling up my days with things that I love to do. And some days it's not a productive thing. It doesn't have to be a productive thing. It could just be resting. I could be watching Netflix, or I could just be taking a walk with the dogs. So it changes when you don't have the pressure of the ego of having to be a certain way, accomplish certain things. It's great to have accomplishments, but if your accomplishments and your goals are taking your life away, then, that's not so great. If you feel okay in your body, if you feel happy and you're just in that accomplishing mode, but you're really, really happy and energized and you love what you're doing, then that's great. You're more in your soul energy when you do that. But if you're in your life and you're doing things for accomplishment's sake and you're not feeling happy and you're feeling tense and you're feeling agitated and you're quick to anger, then that's time to say, okay, I think that I'm in this ego energy maybe, and there is another way. There's another source that lives within us, and that's the buried treasure. So we each have our map to the buried treasure. So it's important that we look at the map and we ask the soul to guide us to it. But we do have to settle that ego voice down a little bit. And how you settle it may be different from person to person, so however you get out of your thinking is the way to go. If you like meditating, then do that. But if you don't like meditating, whatever you're doing in your life that helps you to get out of thinking, that's where you want to be. And when you're not in thought and you can go within a little bit, just ask questions, and kind of throw it out there to the universe, kind of say, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Or, can you help me with this problem? And it's an amazing thing that when you're connected and back into this energy, that you get answers. You get answers from your soul, and then you get answers from the collective soul, which is basically everybody's soul that's out there. So that makes us pretty smart, So, if you, love to draw and you ask for all the artists that have passed on that are now in spirit for their help and guidance, and ask them to work through you with your soul and blend, you may be amazed by what you create. So give it a shot, because it's really an amazing thing. No matter what you're doing in your life, you can ask the souls that have passed over, that are solely just in spirit now, for their help and their guidance, along with your own soul. As I said before, when you connect into the soul energy, it feels like a separate energy. It does feel like you're talking to somebody else. So, for a while that got me a little confused of who I was connecting to and who was I talking to, and where were these inspirations coming from, and where were these love feelings coming from. And it took me a while to realize that it's our essence, that this is really truly our essence. Our essence and who we are is nothing but love. And, when you tap into that, that knowledge and that awareness that you are nothing but love, it's an amazing feeling, and it's an amazing thing. And you don't ever have to convince yourself of anything ever again. So I would, think about this map idea, and, that you have this buried treasure within you. And when this ego voice is just exploding in your mind and triggering you and making you feel terrible from day to day, that you think about, there is somebody else that lives inside of me. There is another part of me that, wants some attention, and can talk to me. So I want to try to reach for that, And you will. All you really have to do is ask for the guidance. It sounds like it's hard, and it can feel a little hard, but it really isn't. It's really just a quiet going inward, and just feeling that energy, that vibration within, or whatever it is that your soul feels like to you. And, you will connect to this magical part of you that you just know that you're abundant and you're loved and you're taken care of, and there's not a lot to have to worry about anymore. So I really want you to experience that for yourself, because it is really hard to hear about it secondhand and to kind of think your way into the soul. You can't really think your way into the soul. You have to feel your way into the soul. So you could start with a guided meditation. If it's hard to stop your thoughts, go on YouTube. There's so many beautiful meditations, and just do a guided 5-minute meditation and see how you feel. Give your body a rest. It definitely helps for your body to slow down, and it really gives your body a rest from, this constant going. So it's really, really helpful. So give all that a shot. You have your map. It's in your hand. You just have to take it, and you have to look at it and ask your soul to help you, and go within and find that energy, this energy of abundance that's going to tell you all kinds of amazing, wonderful things. And you will not believe it at first, but in time you will, and then you'll want to just live in that energy more and more, because it feels so much better. The ego really has its grips on us all, and we really have to work hard to evolve from this ego mind. It's really helpful for us. So I hope this helps. I hope you keep trying. And again, I hope you join me on the Psychic Talk Network radio station and call in and ask any questions that you have. I would love to hear from you. I would love to talk to you and see how you're doing with all this. So have a fantastic day, and, listen to the wisdom of your soul and what is it saying, and tell me, post what you're hearing from your soul. What inspirations are you getting? What is it telling you? Does it sound similar to what I'm talking about, or is it very different? I feel like a lot of it is similar, but everybody's interpretation is a little bit different. So I would love to hear what your interpretation of connecting to your soul feels like to you. What do you hear? How does it guide you? How is it helping you deal with the ego? And how is it softening that voice for you? All that stuff is just amazing. It's magical, and it puts you on the path of yourself. There's so much to explore within. There's so much to explore in this world, but then also there's so much to explore within, so we don't want to, explore the ego only in this lifetime. That's just half the exploration. We want to go further. We want to explore the ego. Like I've had many years of exploring the ego with myself and my clients. And then there came a time where it was time to go deeper. And so now I've been exploring my soul and been exploring the souls of my clients. And it's really amazing to connect to soul to people. It's much different. We tend to connect ego to ego, and that's not so pleasant. Connecting to other people's ego, it's sort of like always trying to convince somebody to feel better about themselves, or trying to convince somebody to see things a certain way. With the soul, there's just a knowing, and people can just sit with that and understand that. And it's quite different. So for the psychotherapists that are out there, you probably are connecting to your soul. I don't think you're in the helping profession and haven't connected at some point. So I think, you just want to continue to be quiet in your sessions and listen, so that the quieter your ego is during your sessions, the easier it is to hear, what your soul has to say and what your soul of your client has to say, and how that directs you. You really changes your psychotherapy practice for the better. And I have seen people improve much quicker and become much happier. So I hope this helps. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and just give it a shot. Remember the image of the map, and keep exploring, and you will find an amazing wealth of abundance and wisdom. So much to learn. Your spiritual gifts will come out. It's just an amazing experience. So have a great soul-centered day, and we'll talk soon.